Ever feel like you're walking a tightrope when it comes to your crypto?
Okay. Yeah,
You want to make your money work for you, but that market volatility can be a little daunting.
definitely.
That's where cash management comes in. Think of it like building a solid runway for your investments.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into Ondo Finance,
Okay.
specifically their products USDY and OUSG.
Okay.
These promise to make managing your cash in crypto a whole lot smoother.
Sounds good.
Our sources for this deep dive: a stack of Ondo's own documentation,
Okay.
Cash Management 101, some comparisons of their products, and a look at how they stack up against stablecoins.
Okay. So what's interesting here is that Ondo's approaching this with an eye toward traditional finance principles.
Oh, interesting.
They're not just trying to reinvent the wheel in a decentralized setting.
Yeah.
They're bridging the gap between the old and the new.
I see. So before we get into USDY and OUSG,
Yeah.
let's break down the fundamentals of cash management, especially in crypto. The Cash Management 101 doc really lays the groundwork here.
Yeah, the key takeaway is the balance between stability and liquidity on the one hand and generating returns on the other.
Yeah.
It's that classic dilemma. Play it safe or go for growth.
Yeah.
But in crypto,
Right.
the stakes are even higher. The market's so up and down.
Absolutely. So how do we navigate this tricky landscape?
Well, the source outlines a three-step process.
Okay.
Forecasting,
Uh-huh.
managing liquidity,
hmm
and constantly adapting.
Right. It sounds straightforward, but I'm guessing there's a little bit more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely. Let's start with forecasting. Think of it like this.
Okay.
You're a startup founder. You need to project your cash flow to see how long your runway is.
Okay.
Ondo uses a great example to illustrate this. Imagine you have $10 million
Wow.
and you earn a modest 5% interest.
Okay.
That's $500,000.
Right.
Not a small chunk of change, right?
No, not at all.
It really underscores the power of even small returns
Yeah,
when you're dealing with significant capital.
for sure. The source also emphasizes the need for conservative estimates, especially in crypto. Unexpected events can really throw a wrench in the best-laid plans.
Oh, yeah.
They suggest creating what they call stress scenarios.
Right. Let's say your revenue takes a hit.
Mhm.
You lose a major client. Maybe there's some unforeseen regulatory change. These stress scenarios force you to confront potential vulnerabilities.
That makes a lot of sense.
What if MakerDAO, for instance, faced a sudden surge in DAI redemptions?
Ah, wow.
Having that cash management strategy in place would be crucial.
Makes a lot of sense. It's like having a financial safety net for your crypto.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a handle on forecasting. What about managing liquidity?
Okay.
This feels particularly crucial in crypto where you need to be able to act fast.
The source lays out a clear hierarchy.
Okay.
Capital preservation comes first. Don't lose money. That's the golden rule.
Yeah.
Then comes liquidity.
Yeah.
Can you access your funds quickly when you need them? And finally, there's yield, making your money work for you. It's about striking the right balance.
Right. It reminds me of that classic dilemma between stable coins and short-term U.S. Treasury bonds.
Yeah.
Stable coins offer excellent capital preservation and liquidity,
Yeah.
but the yield might be lower.
Right.
Treasuries could offer a potentially higher yield, but they're not as instantly accessible.
Right.
How do we decide where to allocate our funds?
Well, that's where the bucket approach comes in.
Okay.
Imagine dividing your cash needs into 3 buckets.
Uh-huh.
Short-term, 0 to 3 months.
Okay.
Mid-term, 3 to 12 months. And long-term, 12 months or more.
Okay.
Each bucket aligns with a different investment strategy and risk tolerance.
So it's like diversifying your crypto portfolio, but with a focus on cash management.
Exactly.
And the interesting thing is that this bucket approach mirrors what we see in traditional finance.
Yeah.
Ondo's Cash Management 101 document even provides a table mapping these buckets to specific investment options
Yeah.
in both the traditional and on-chain world.
It's all about finding the right tools
Yeah.
for each time horizon and risk appetite. And that's where Ondo's products, USDY and OUSG, come into play. They're bridging the gap between the tried and true methods of traditional finance and the exciting possibilities of DeFi.
Speaking of bridging the gap, I'm curious, what aspect of this cash management framework resonated most with you?
Hmm.
What's the biggest aha moment so far?
For me, it's the emphasis on stress scenarios.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the hype and potential returns,
Yeah.
but considering those what-if situations can make all the difference,
Totally.
it forces you to think defensively and be prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a great reminder that in the crypto world,
Yeah.
prudence is key.
Yeah.
So are you ready to dive into how Ondo's USDY and OUSG might fit into this picture?
Absolutely. Let's explore how these products can potentially revolutionize the way we approach cash management in the crypto space.
All right, let's start with USDY. It's often described as your gateway to short-term U.S. treasuries and bank deposits.
Okay.
But here's the catch. It's not your typical stablecoin.
Right.
It's actually a tokenized secured note.
Yeah, that's a crucial distinction.
Okay.
It means that instead of holding your funds in a stablecoin,
Mm-hmm.
which can sometimes be subject to risks and uncertainties,
Right.
you're essentially investing in a note backed by those stable and highly liquid assets.
So it's like combining the stability of traditional assets with the accessibility and flexibility of a tokenized product.
Exactly.
But why is that such a big deal? Why should our listener care about this tokenized secured note structure?
Well, the comparison to stablecoins document highlights several key advantages.
Okay.
One that really stands out is the concept of bankruptcy remoteness.
Okay.
USDY is issued by Ondo USDY LLC.
Mm-hmm.
That's a separate entity.
Specifically designed to be shielded from the potential bankruptcy risks of Ondo's operating companies.
I see. So it's like an extra layer of protection for your investment.
Exactly.
That's a huge point, especially given some of the recent events in the stablecoin world. Investors are understandably concerned about the safety and stability of their funds.
Yeah.
Bankruptcy remoteness provides a sense of security that's hard to find elsewhere in the crypto space.
Exactly. And then there's the yield factor.
Right.
Remember that $10 million example?
Yeah.
With USDY, holders get to enjoy almost all the yield generated from the underlying treasuries and bank deposits. That's a stark contrast to stablecoin holders, who often receive very little, if any, direct interest.
So USDY allows you to make your money work for you while still being exposed to some of the safest assets in the traditional financial system.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty compelling combination. What else makes USDY stand out from the stablecoin crowd?
Security and regulatory compliance. Unlike many stablecoins, which operate in a bit of a gray area,
USDY is issued in strict compliance with U.S. federal and state securities laws. This provides a level of transparency and trust.
yeah,
It's essential for attracting both institutional and individual investors.
it's like bringing the best of both worlds together, the innovation of crypto and the stability of traditional finance.
Yeah.
And to add another layer of reassurance, there's third-party oversight.
Right.
The Ankura Trust Company acts as a protector for USDY holders, ensuring that everything is on the up and up.
The involvement of a reputable third party like Ankura reinforces USDY's commitment to regulatory compliance and best practices.
For sure.
It sends a strong signal that this is a serious product
Yeah.
designed for a sophisticated investor
Right.
who values both security and returns.
This is all really fascinating, but I have to admit the concept of rebasing still throws me off a bit.
Okay,
Can you break it down in a way that even I can understand?
of course. Think of it like this.
Okay.
Imagine you have a basket of apples that represents your investment. With a traditional accumulating product like a bond,
Mm.
the basket itself grows in value as it accrues interest.
Okay.
But with a rebasing product,
Yeah.
the size of the basket stays the same,
Okay.
but you get more apples added to it to reflect the yield.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So with the USDY, you have the option of choosing between an accumulating version
Yeah.
where the price increases as yield accrues and a rebasing version
Right.
where the price stays stable, but you get more tokens to represent your return.
Exactly. It's all about offering flexibility to the investor. Now, before we move on to OUSG, there's one intriguing detail about USDY I want to highlight. Remember that three-step process we discussed? Forecasting, managing liquidity, and adapting? Well, with USDY, there's a 40 to 50-day waiting period before you can get those transferable tokens.
That's interesting. Why the... It seems counterintuitive in the fast-paced world of crypto.
It all ties back to regulatory compliance and investor protection. There are legal and operational considerations.
That necessitate this waiting period. So it's a trade-off between instant gratification and the peace of mind that comes with a more regulated and secure product. I think that's a good place to pause our exploration of USDY. Are you ready to move on to OUSG?
Absolutely. Let's delve into this product that caters specifically to those seeking direct exposure to short-term U.S. Treasuries. So we've unpacked USDY,
Mm.
a product that offers access to short-term U.S. Treasuries and bank deposits
Yeah.
in a secure and regulated way.
Right.
Now, let's turn our attention to OUSG,
Okay.
a product that takes a slightly different approach,
Okay.
but still aims to help you maximize your crypto cash.
I'm all ears. From what I've gathered, OUSG is all about providing direct exposure to short-term U.S. Treasuries.
Exactly.
It's like having a piece of that classic reliable asset class right in your crypto portfolio.
And it's not just any treasuries.
Right.
OUSG is primarily backed by BlackRock's USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund,
Okay.
better known as BUIDL. BlackRock, as you know, is a giant in the asset management world.
Yeah, they are.
So their involvement speaks volumes about OUSG's focus on stability and credibility.
Having BlackRock in the picture definitely adds a layer of trust,
Yeah.
especially for those who might be hesitant about venturing into the crypto world.
Right.
But before we delve deeper into OUSG, I'm curious about something.
Yeah.
Both USDY and OUSG aim to make our crypto work harder, but they seem to cater to different types of investors.
That's a great question.
What are the key distinctions?
You could say that USDY casts a wider net.
Okay.
It's designed to be accessible to a broader range of investors,
Okay.
regardless of their accreditation status or familiarity with crypto.
I see.
It's like the gateway drug
Okay.
to institutional-grade assets.
So USDY is for the everyday investor
Yeah.
who wants a taste of those traditionally exclusive investments.
Exactly.
What about OUSG? Who is that ideal for?
OUSG is geared towards a more sophisticated investor, someone who understands the intricacies of financial markets and meets the regulatory requirements of being a qualified purchaser.
So someone who's already, pretty deep in the space.
Yeah, think of it as the next step up
Okay.
for those who are ready for direct exposure to U.S. Treasuries
Gotcha.
and want to leverage BlackRock's expertise.
Okay, so USDY is for accessibility and a broader audience,
Right.
while OUSG is for those seeking a more targeted institutional grade experience.
Yeah,
But both offer those accumulating and rebasing versions, right?
absolutely.
It seems like Ondo is all about flexibility, letting investors choose the flavor that best suits their needs.
The choice between accumulating and rebasing really boils down to personal preference.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the price of your token increase over time,
Mm-hmm.
reflecting the accrued yield?
Right.
Or do you prefer a stable unit of account
Right.
while still benefiting from yield through the rebasing mechanism?
Okay.
It's like choosing between a classic bond and a dynamic tokenized version.
It's like having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
Stability and yield
Yeah.
all wrapped up in a neat little tokenized package.
Right.
But let's get practical for a moment.
Okay.
How easy is it to actually get your hands on these OUSG tokens?
Yeah, good question.
What's the process like?
Well, unlike USDY, where you have that 40 to 50-day waiting period
Yeah.
for transferable tokens,
Mm-hmm.
OUSG offers instant minting and redemption using USDC.
Oh, wow.
It's designed for seamless integration
Okay.
with the crypto ecosystem,
Yeah.
making it super convenient for
Yeah.
those who are already comfortable
Uh-huh.
operating in the decentralized world.
So OUSG embraces the speed and efficiency of crypto,
Right.
while USDY leans towards a more traditional approach
Yeah.
with that waiting period.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the different personalities of these products emerge.
Yeah.
What about the investment amounts? Is there a high barrier to entry for OUSG?
Not at all.
Okay.
The minimum investment and redemption amounts for OUSG are relatively low,
Okay.
especially when you compare them to traditional investment vehicles.
Gotcha.
For instant transactions, you're looking at just $5,000.
Oh, wow. That's not bad.
And even for non-instant transactions,
Yeah.
the minimums are reasonable.
Okay.
$100,000 for subscriptions
Mhm.
and $50,000 for redemptions.
That's good news for those who might be intimidated by the high minimums
Right.
often associated with institutional grade investments.
Exactly.
It makes OUSG a more accessible option for a wider range of investors.
Yeah,
But I do remember that there are some eligibility requirements, right?
that's right.
Not just anyone can jump in and start investing in OUSG.
To invest in OUSG,
Yeah.
you need to meet the criteria of being an accredited investor
Mhm.
and a qualified purchaser.
Okay.
These requirements are in place to ensure that investors understand the nature of the investment
Right.
and meet certain financial thresholds set by regulatory bodies.
So it's all about protecting investors and ensuring they're making informed decisions.
Exactly.
But what about the actual onboarding process? Is it a complicated bureaucratic nightmare?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
Ondo has streamlined the process.
Okay.
It involves the usual know your customer, KYC procedures,
Mhm.
providing your account details,
Right.
and signing the necessary documentation.
Hmm.
It's all pretty straightforward and
Mhm.
designed to be user-friendly.
That's good to hear. And what about the yield itself? How does OUSG actually generate returns for its investors?
OUSG earns yield based on the performance
Yeah.
of the underlying U.S. Treasuries
Mm-hmm.
held within the BlackRock BUIDL fund.
Right.
And to keep things transparent,
Yeah.
the price and net asset value, NAV, of OUSG are updated daily,
Okay.
so investors can track their investment's performance with ease.
So it's like having a direct line to the U.S. Treasury market,
Yep.
but with the added convenience and transparency of a tokenized product. And speaking of transparency, I remember reading something about fees. Doesn't Ondo charge a management fee for OUSG?
They do,
Okay.
but here's the kicker.
Okay.
The management fee is waived until July 1st, 2025.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty sweet deal for early adopters,
Yeah.
and it makes OUSG even more attractive
Right.
compared to traditional investment vehicles that often come with hefty fees.
That's a great incentive to get in on the action.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored the eligibility requirements,
Okay.
the onboarding process,
Hmm.
the yield generation mechanism, and
Yeah.
even the waived management fees.
Yeah.
What stood out to you the most about OUSG? What surprised you or piqued your interest?
What impressed me the most is Ondo's attention to detail.
Yeah.
They've carefully considered every aspect of the product,
Hmm.
from the choice of BlackRock as the underlying asset manager
Right.
to the seamless redemption process using USDC.
Yeah.
It's clear that they're not just throwing another tokenized product out there.
Right.
They're building a robust and well-thought-out solution
Yeah.
for sophisticated investors.
I agree. They seem to be striking a balance between innovation and tradition,
Yeah.
which is a refreshing approach in the sometimes chaotic world of crypto.
Yeah.
But before we move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to shift gears a bit.
Go ahead.
We've talked extensively about the mechanics of USDY and OUSG,
Hmm.
but what about the bigger picture?
Yeah.
What are the potential implications of these tokenized products
Good
for
question.
the future of cash management,
Yeah.
both in traditional finance and in the decentralized world? We spent a lot of time getting into the nitty-gritty of USDY and OUSG,
Yeah.
but what does it all mean in the grand scheme of things?
Well,
Are we on the cusp of a revolution in cash management?
I think it's safe to say that products like these represent a significant shift. It's not just about tokenizing existing assets.
Right.
It's about reimagining the very infrastructure of finance.
Okay, paint a picture for me.
Yeah.
What does this revolution look like?
Imagine a world where access to sophisticated financial products is no longer limited by who you know or where you live.
Okay.
No more gatekeepers,
Yeah.
no more exorbitant fees,
Right.
just a level playing field where anyone can participate
Yeah.
in a transparent and efficient system.
That's a pretty compelling vision. It's
Yeah.
like democratizing access to what was once the exclusive domain of institutions and high net worth individuals.
Right.
But how do USDY and OUSG fit into this grand vision?
They're the pioneers,
Okay.
the early examples of what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
They're proving that you can bridge the gap between traditional finance and the decentralized world,
Okay.
bringing institutional-grade assets and sophisticated strategies to a wider audience.
So it's not just about replicating existing products in a tokenized format. It's
Right.
about creating entirely new possibilities. But I'm
Okay.
curious, what about the potential downsides?
Yeah.
Are there any risks or challenges we should be aware of?
Of course, no system is perfect.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges is the evolving regulatory landscape.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Governments and regulatory bodies are still figuring out how to approach this new world of decentralized finance.
Right.
Clear guidelines and frameworks are needed to ensure investor protection and market stability
Mm-hmm.
as these products gain wider adoption.
It's like navigating uncharted territory.
Yeah,
We need to proceed thoughtfully,
right.
balancing innovation with the need for responsible oversight.
Yeah, I agree.
What else should we be mindful of?
Education is crucial.
Yeah.
For these products to truly thrive,
Hmm.
investors need to understand how they work, the risks involved,
Right.
and how to integrate them into their overall financial strategies.
For sure.
We can't just assume everyone will instantly grasp these concepts.
Right.
We need to prioritize clear explanations and accessible resources.
It's like any new technology, there's a learning curve involved.
For sure.
And that's where platforms like Ondo Finance are playing a vital role. Their documentation does a great job of breaking down complex concepts
Yeah, that's really
and making them understandable for a wider audience.
absolutely. And it's not just about Ondo.
Right?
It's about fostering a culture of learning and responsible investing
Yeah,
within the entire crypto community.
for sure.
The more informed investors are, the more likely this space is to evolve in a sustainable and beneficial way.
So we're standing at a crossroads.
Yeah.
On one hand, we have the potential for a more accessible, transparent, and efficient financial system.
All right.
On the other hand, we need to navigate the regulatory complexities
Yeah.
and ensure investors are equipped with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
It's an exciting time to be involved in this space.
Yeah, it really is.
We're witnessing a fundamental shift in how we think about money and finance.
Yeah.
Products like USDY and OUSG are just the tip of the iceberg. Who knows what other innovations await us as this space continues to evolve?
It feels like we're on the verge of a financial renaissance.
I think so.
Powered by blockchain technology and a growing awareness of the limitations of the traditional system. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Ondo Finance.
It's been a great discussion.
We've explored the nuts and bolts of USDY and OUSG, delved into the broader implications for cash management,
Yeah,
and hopefully sparked your curiosity about the future of finance.
hopefully so.
Remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation.
Right.
We encourage you to do your own research, explore Ondo's resources,
Yeah,
and stay engaged as this exciting space continues to unfold.
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.
Thanks for having me.